Hey guys, welcome back to the Real Talk Podcast. This is episode 29.
Yes.
Let's go.
This is so cool.
What?
We're almost at 30. We're almost at 30. It's so cool to think that we're almost at 30 podcasts, 30 shows since we started.
Yeah, look, it's kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie. It's a little bit.
It's a little
strange,
surreal.
but it's good. I mean,
Yeah.
look at where we are now. Like, we started off recording things on
Yeah.
the world's shittiest microphones on a laptop in one room, and now we're in 4K on a couch
Yeah. In our
in
apartment.
our apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh, how things have changed in 30 weeks.
holy crap! It's been 30 weeks.
Well, it's actually been like 32.
Yeah. True.
33, we've missed a couple, but you know, let's not talk about that right now.
Yeah, fair.
What we will talk about is PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Nice segue, where'd you get it? Yeah, we're back to segue jokes. Bringing it back 10 weeks after I started them. So PlayStation 5 was announced this week. There is a video coming out for it tomorrow with this beautiful mug on it. You'll notice that it was recorded today because I'm wearing the same shirt.
And I sat behind the camera. I didn't do anything. I just sat there.
At least you got changed for this podcast.
I did. Yeah, I was gonna wear the grey shirt, and I thought to myself, I'd look like a slob, and I just had like an oat drink, so I got oat all over me, so I had to change the shirt.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's a good shirt.
It's a nice shirt.
But this is Real Talk pop culture discussions, not fashion discussions. So, have you seen the specs for the new PlayStation 5, or is that just me doing all the research for that? Out of my intense obsession with PlayStations.
It's mainly just been you.
Yeah.
Well, you're more into the technical side of all that kind of stuff.
I do like
I just
the
like what it
technical
gives
side
me.
of consoles. I did try and avoid doing a lot of like technical stuff in the video. All of that stuff, I put it all in the article online at realtalkpcd.com.
Yeah.
So if you want all that, that's there. It was all of the information I could get off Tech Radar. Shout out to those guys, and the PlayStation blog. Because those are the only two reliable sources of information when it comes to consoles.
Yeah, true.
So there's a few things in it. I won't go too deeply into like what it does, like one-on-one, because I already did that.
Yeah.
But the big thing is the controller. They've changed the controller a lot. It's they've put resistance into triggers, so that the game developers can program what every single level of resistance on the triggers do.
Right.
Like pulling a bowstring. If you want to do a half bow, you'd like pull, like half press the button, and the game, like the controller will register that. It's not just like it is now. It's sort of like if you half press it, it'll register as like almost none, or full. And now it's like the whole range
Yeah.
is there, which is it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like that's something that I never really I never really took that into account, but now that you say that, I probably will look. It's good that they're putting more attention into detail when it comes to the controllers. Like they're not just making it into like something you just need to play a game. Like they're actually trying to immerse you into the game.
yeah. Well, I mean, they added the touchpad to the DualShock 4, which I feel like it's been mostly either underutilized or completely ignored. Like a few games,
You're talking about that
yeah.
pad.
like it's used to open the map.
Yeah.
Occasionally, it can be used to navigate the map.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's usually like quick time events or things like that. Like it's pretty much not been used at all.
I think like the last game to really utilize it was Uncharted. Like Uncharted used it pretty heavily, didn't they? Or is that? Oh
Not
no, that
really,
was
no.
the
They use the balance
The
thing,
balance
and you
thing
can
on
turn
it.
it off.
Oh, so that you didn't even need to.
So
use
it was like it's like they were like, "Hey, the PlayStation will register like where the controller is," and you're like,
Yeah.
"Okay," and it was like, "But it's crap, and you could turn it off." We were just told to use it, and you're like, "Yeah, turn it off." Well, I've spent the last 20 years using the bloody analog stick to
Yeah.
balance anyway. I'm not gonna
I'm
stop
not gonna
using it
start
now. Yeah.
doing this.
I'm not gonna go because I already look like an idiot when people walk in on playing games. I get very into them. Like,
But that's the whole point. That's the whole point. I guess that's what they were trying to do, but just it didn't. I guess it just didn't land.
I think the problem with the controller motion balancing thing was that it didn't work as well as the analog stick
Yeah.
because it
Well, everyone's used to
well
the
the
analog stick.
technology it's good, but it hasn't quite got there yet. So it's like you'd be going like that, and it would either over register or under register. And you just die over and over again.
Yeah.
Whereas the analog stick controls have worked since the PS2.
Yeah, fair.
So, like...
Yeah, so don't fix something that ain't broke.
Well, it's good that they're trying that, because that usually means that now by the PS5, shit like that will work.
Yeah.
Which I'm into. Like, phones do it all the time. Like, there's driving games on the phone where you just tilt the phone now. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, so it makes sense that... Like, that's where it started. PS5 will work. So I'm happy for them to put it in there, but I feel like now to push people into using that, they'll have to not give the option to turn it off,
Yeah, true.
which is going to frustrate some people. But what do you do? That's how.
Well, people are just going to get
Well,
frustrated.
that's how technological leaps are made. You've got to take the old thing away
Yeah.
and force them to use the new thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I that is true, but also Xbox tried to do that with where they tried to take away the tray.
Okay, that's different. That was retarded
Yeah, true.
because they tried to take the disc tray out of Xboxes
Yeah.
and make it so that you only use the digital store.
Right.
It was to eliminate trading, so that they can.
So-
You can't trade in games, so they make more money.
Right.
The problem was they didn't make the hard drive bigger, and they did absolutely nothing to the console. Like someone took the top off,
Yeah.
and it's like the Xbox One, and someone's pulled the disc tray out. They may as well have just released the Xbox One
Yeah.
and put a sticker over the disc tray. Like they did nothing else. Like if they'd. And it wasn't even that much cheaper. It was like $50 cheaper.
Yeah.
So you're gonna buy the normal Xbox. Like if you're gonna pay almost the same price
Yeah.
and you're still gonna have limited space, you're gonna buy the Xbox.
Yeah, fair. I remember us talking about that like on one of our early podcasts.
Yeah, it was it's like 20 weeks ago now.
Yeah, 20 weeks ago.
But like, yeah, it's just one of those things. It was like you look at it and you go like, what were Xbox thinking? And like they've seriously got it back up because PS5 have announced all this new stuff.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. And we've got no information on the next Xbox yet. Which
No.
I don't know. Are they going to call it the Xbox 2?
I don't know. At
So this
point-
is okay. This is going to be a mad tangent, but what a podcast for?
Yeah, fair.
So you've got your 5 generations of PlayStation.
Right.
PlayStation 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Xbox, you've got Xbox 360,
Right.
Xbox One. So the Xbox One is not the first Xbox, it's the third Xbox, but the first Xbox is just called Xbox and the second Xbox is called the Xbox 360. Where do you go from there?
I don't know. My head's hurting.
Yeah.
My brain's hurting a little bit. I
Exactly.
was trying to follow you there. I know where you're going with this. Yeah, the names make no sense.
No.
But I don't even... Yeah.
It's classic Windows.
Yeah.
Like that is a Microsoft problem. It always has been because it's like Microsoft 98,
Yeah.
Microsoft 2000, Microsoft XP, Microsoft 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like you either stick with the year,
Yeah.
right, or use numbers. You can't do both. And why they put Windows XP in the middle of like 2006 is ridiculous. Like, it makes no sense. Like that's
But that...
Bill Gates, sort your shit out.
Yeah. I'm sure he's watching.
Yeah, well, he should be.
He probably learned something. Ooh. I feel bad saying that. Maybe.
Yeah, learn how to name your shit. Everything else is fine. Learn how to name your shit.
Mm.
I'd also, while we're on that, it's Microsoft. Is it Microsoft's 8, 9, 10, 365.
Okay, that just makes no sense to me.
Yeah,
Like
the
what?
new Microsoft is Microsoft 365, which I assume is supposed to be how many days are in a year,
Right.
because it's a subscription service now. You have to
Uh,
pay like a yearly thing, or you have to pay a ridiculous amount to buy it outright.
Yeah, see, I don't understand. I'm going to go into a massive tangent in a second about.
No, go
Okay,
for
I
your life.
don't
You've got
understand.
5 minutes.
I don't understand why. I don't understand why why you have to pay a subscription to get a service that you used to be able to get for free. I don't get it. Is that maybe because I'm just used to having it for free? But if
Well,
they're
it was
gonna
never
do
it was
that,
never free. It was often lumped in with a computer you bought. So if you bought a computer and it wasn't a Apple
yeah,
Mac, you would buy the Windows OS,
yeah,
and it would come with Microsoft. It was just bundled in. It was like, oh, you bought Windows XP, it came with Microsoft,
right,
which was Excel, PowerPoint, Word, all that stuff. Now it's not, and they've changed it to either paying, I think, it's almost $200,
yeah. Because I was trying to buy it the other
or
day.
it's like
More.
$20 a month or something.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
To like subscribe to it. And it's one of those things that's like, name one other like Word document thing you can go to the after that works 100%.
I can't. Like there is nothing.
Exactly.
There's
Like
nothing.
there will be some out there,
Yeah,
but like Microsoft is like, it's the choice.
yeah.
So they're just like, oh, we'll charge shitloads of money for it.
Yeah, but see, that's just greedy to me. If you are the most used software for writing, I don't understand. Everyone's going to be using it. Why do you have to make them pay out the nose to make them use it?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make
But that's the
any
thing.
sense
That's
to me.
what, bringing it back to PlayStation 5, which is a struggle, is but that's the difference. That is why PS4 beat Xbox One during like the console wars. But like this generation of consoles, the reason PS4 sold so many was because from the get-go,
Yeah.
their whole thing was for the players, which now they've started using as their tagline.
Yeah.
But like Xbox released a console with almost no exclusives.
Yeah.
Like no backwards compatibility, the Xbox Live thing didn't work.
Yeah.
And then they spent 6 months fixing their console.
Yeah.
Whereas PlayStation released like the PS4 with all of this stuff, with like, okay, you had to pay for online now,
Yeah.
and like things like that. But it released with all of this stuff straight away, because like to the point where the console PlayStation 4 was released at a loss to Sony.
Yeah.
So they initially lost money. Like the PS4 cost more to get out than it cost us to buy it.
Oh, sorry.
Because that's what they do. And I imagine they'll do it for PS5 as well. But then you generate so much like customer trust
Yeah.
and like appreciation that when you start releasing extra stuff, we go out and buy that stuff.
Yeah.
Like freaking, the PS4 was released. I bought it immediately for less than it should have been, and then I was like, "Holy shit, this is great!" And I went, and ever since then, I've just been buying everything. I spent $480 on VR the other week,
Which
which
I was
honestly is
skeptical when you bought it, because I always thought, because I only ever tried VR once, and I didn't really enjoy it the first time.
Is that when we played it at PAX?
I think it was we played it at PAX, and we had to wait an hour in line to play VR Skyrim, and it was god awful. I think mainly because we weren't actually supposed to be there. I think you had to like do something to like you had to book online to play it.
Yeah.
I think the guy just let us in because he felt bad.
Yeah, it was a bit. Yeah.
But like that was kind of average for me. It just takes one bad experience to kind of put you off something. But then I came home and I saw you just destroying like killing demons.
Killing demons in Doom VFR.
In VFR. and like I'm hooked on it now. Like we just keep on buying games.
Yeah, no, it's great. It really does have some of the best experiences of like the year.
Like the one that you just bought, Blood and Truth.
Blood and Truth. I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
I want to
Like,
give.
I
That
want
a
to
go.
be playing it right now.
Like I really want to give that a go. If you have VR and if you haven't played Blood and Truth,
Play Blood and Truth.
I recommend you go out and play it.
It's a video game.
Yeah.
In virtual reality. Like a lot of the VR games are like their VR experiences or they're pretty short and that's why they're sort of like $20-ish. This one's a bit more expensive. I think it's $50 on the PlayStation Store right now.
Yeah.
But it's got a full story. It plays like it's a playable movie. It really is. Like you're like going through and you're an ex-salt. Like I'm not going to ruin the story for you.
Yeah.
Just go and play it. I could not recommend it highly enough.
And I still think the Oasis is upon us.
You really want the Oasis to be upon us.
I really want the Oasis to be upon us. I mean, who doesn't want that?
Yeah,
it's great.
But, like, if you think about it, you'd have to buy the Oasis, and then you'd go into the hub world, and then everything you do from there will be DLC. That's how video games work.
Thanks for ruining the Oasis for me.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Dick.
Well, I did very little to ruin it for you. All right, speaking of Doolittle, trailer came out this morning. Did you watch the trailer for Doolittle?
That was a great segue. I did watch the trailer for Doolittle. It was awesome.
Because I know when it was announced the other day, well, it may have been announced months ago, but when we saw it the other day that Robert Downey Jr. was playing Dr. Doolittle, you were a bit...
I was against it, yeah.
You were very against it. Is that because Eddie Murphy is Dr. Doolittle?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was. It was because Dr. Doolittle was Eddie Murphy, and I loved Eddie Murphy as Dr. Doolittle. Was there 2 movies?
2, yeah.
Yeah, I liked the first one. I didn't like the second one.
Fair. I do have a small inquiry. Have you read the book?
No.
Okay. There it is. So this one looks to be very much more like the book. Like Dr. Doolittle, the Eddie Murphy one,
Yeah.
took the premise of Dr. Doolittle in that he's a person who can talk to animals.
Right.
And they brought it into like the modern world. And
Yeah.
it's like sort of a similar story, but that's what it was. This one is taking it back to like 18th century or whatever it is.
Right.
It just looks good.
It does look good.
It's almost like this is what Robert Downey Jr. is doing while he tries to get himself back into the Sherlock Holmes role.
Yeah.
Like a lot of it is very...
Are they making another... I'll come back to that in a second, but...
Yes, I believe so.
They are?
Alright, we're talking about Robert Downey Jr. Yes, I believe they are doing Sherlock Holmes 3.
Yeah.
I think they're writing a script, because I know they've wanted to do one for a while, but obviously Robert Downey Jr. has been busy being Iron Man and going around telling people he's Iron Man. I am Iron Man.
Going back to Doolittle, I was skeptical because you're right. I saw the Eddie Murphy, Dr. Doolittle when I was a kid, and I love that. I love that movie, not movies, and after watching this trailer, I know for a fact that this is going to be the feel-good movie of the holiday season.
Yeah, look,
because there's a bit in the trailer. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. But there's a bit in the trailer where like his animal companion is cowering in fear, and you just hear Dr. Doolittle say, "It's okay to be afraid."
Yeah,
And
look,
you can
it's
tell-
gonna be. I think it's gonna be one of those movies that is. It looks like a kids' movie,
Yeah.
but it's got one of those underlying sort of stories to it that it should appeal to everyone, and that is what kids' movies should be like. And like Disney and Pixar are
They're killing
really going at it at the moment. Like things like Coco. I don't know if you've seen Coco, which is like a really colorful and sort of musical thing, and but at its core, spoilers if you haven't seen Coco, it's about a guy who murders his best friend and steals all of his songs to become famous.
Yep.
Yeah. And then you've got things like Up, which is about, how life is shit.
Yeah.
And it's about a depressed old man.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, well, this is dark. I haven't seen Toy Story 4, but I heard that's got a super dark story to it as well. Like an underlying
I
one.
thought you went out and watched it.
No, I didn't know. No, okay. This is what happens. This is some behind the scenes. I'm not arguing. So you went to see it, and I was going to go with my niece, and then my mum and my sister took her while I was away.
That sucks.
Yeah. No, so it's good, and like,
That pause.
but Frozen 2 is coming out, and that honestly it annoys me how good that looks because I know that she'll never probably come back and watch all of these. Amara, thank you very much for making me watch Frozen 138,000 times.
I don't hate.
She's
You know
a good
what? I
kid.
don't. She is a good kid. I don't hate the Frozen movie. It's actually a good movie. I just hate it because I used to work at a movie.
Yeah.
I used to work at the movies. I don't know what it is. Maybe it was because like her dress sparkled in the movie. Kids would just wear glitter.
Yeah.
And do you know how hard it is to get that shit out of seats?
Having lived with a 7-year-old, yes.
It's incredibly hard to get glitter out of fabric.
Yeah, it sucked.
Yeah. Oh my god. And like the thing is, like I had to watch the end of that movie every single time, and like oh god, I'm having like flashbacks.
PTSD.
I'm PTSD
He's the new
flashback.
Fat Thor.
Like flashbacks of when I used to work at a cinema.
Yeah, well, from something inherently for children to something inherently for psychopaths, Doom got pushed back. Doom Eternal, which I know we've pre-ordered the Ultimate box thing with the helmet and shit.
Yeah.
It's been pushed back to March.
I'm not happy about that.
I mean, neither am I. It's not Red Dead. 2 goddamn years.
Really? That's how long it got pushed back for?
Yeah, it got pushed back like 4 or 5 times over the span of 2 years.
To be fair, it was worth the wait.
So my brother paid it off as part of my 21st present. I played it when I was 23.
Right.
So thanks, Rockstar. It was a fantastic game though, so I kind of let him off. But yeah, so I kind of appreciate that it got pushed back because that means that they don't think the game is ready, which means that, you know, if a game this close to the release date, because I'm pretty sure it's supposed to come out in like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and they've looked at it and they've gone, I'm not happy with it, it's not perfect, I'm not releasing it, which I like, because a lot of people will just release broken games and patch it later.
Yeah.
No Man's Sky. There's like things like that. It's just like so it's like it's always shitty when you've been looking forward to a game and then you're like on the verge of getting it and then it gets pushed back half a year.
Yeah.
But you know, if it comes out and it's as good as we think it's going to be, then you gotta let that slide.
Yeah, fair. Like I get it. They work a long time on these games. If it's not ready yet, they can do it. Like if they want to make it perfect for us to enjoy it, their end product. Power to them. Like keep it. I'm not upset. Well, I am a little bit upset. I want to kill demons, but I really want to wear the helmet while I do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll probably do that later.
Look,
I want to get the VR gun. I really want to get the VR gun.
oh, the light gun.
The light gun.
Yeah, well,
Well, that works.
we'll
doesn't
go
it?
to Games Online later. Yeah,
Yeah.
told us what. Want to go to Games Online later and buy the gun?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
No, let's go to Games later.
We're adults. Right, so while we're on the subject of murder and psychopaths, Joker. How much time do we have? Joker. Let's talk about Joker.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I finally seen the Joker, and
Yeah.
we put it off for a couple of weeks, really talking about it. So, right, at Review by Lurch, at Jared Kiddo, Real Talk Pop Cultures and Discussions, RealTalkPCD.com. I'm going to repeat those at the end, but if you haven't seen the Joker, leave, because we're heading into a massive spoiler territory.
Yeah.
Right, we've given you like 2.5 weeks to go and see it. If you haven't seen the Joker, we are about to ruin it for you.
Yeah.
Right, there will be no holding back. Right, you have been warned. Spoiler effect as of now. So when he shoots that guy in the head, you were warned.
Yeah. So, I want to get your point of view on it. I saw it first. How did you like? Did you obviously you liked it?
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll get into like some of the story notes in a second. A lot of like you saw it on day one.
Yeah, I saw
so
it
it was
the day it
released.
came out.
You saw it, so like you had the advantage. I didn't see it till sort of like a week and a half after it came out, and I had done nothing but listen to fucking idiots on the news and
Yeah.
fucking millennial
just-
softies going, it promotes violence. It's it's like
It's too
it's
brutal.
glorifying like murder, and it's too brutal, and it's all of this stuff. I went to this movie. I really enjoyed it, but when you hear that stuff, I spend the entire movie expecting that one scene. Like I was like, any second now, there's going to be that one scene where he just does something truly fucking like psychotic.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen.
Oh.
So there's a few like brutal scenes in it, but there is nothing in that movie that hasn't, like, violence wise,
Yeah.
that hasn't been done before.
Look,
in every Quentin Tarantino movie.
yeah, exactly. Like when okay, so when I hear people say like, oh, it's too violent and all that kind of stuff, or it's promoting like violence towards people, and but the thing is, you're missing the point of it. It's not violent for the sake of being violent. That's life.
Yeah.
Like, life isn't all sunshine and rainbows. Life is brutal. Like that's what they depicted in the movie. This guy has he's got mental issues. He doesn't work well in crowds. His laugh. If you haven't seen it, his laugh isn't something he does because he chooses to. He has to because of his.
It's like a mental disorder, so that when he gets nervous, he has uncontrollable laughter.
Yeah, and the thing is, it hurts him when he does it. You can see the pain in his throat when he laughs, because he can't physically stop. And you see it like when he tries to do stand-up comedy, and people just misunderstand him. They beat him and all that kind of stuff, and they break him to a point, and it just shows like society just pushing down on this guy until at one point he just can't take it anymore.
And he just snaps, and it's like heavily implied in the movie. Well, it's outright stated at a few points that his mother is severely mentally ill.
Yeah.
And that he's like suffered a lot of abuse over the last sort of like span of his life.
Yeah.
But the whole complaint that it incites violence, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
I think if it incites violence, what that means inherently is that it makes it look like it's okay, but none of the reactions in the film from other characters or like anyone he interacts with would ever indicate that that's like an okay thing to do.
Yeah.
But it's what? Like, so another thing is they're saying like that it's overly violent and it's overly brutal. All right. So I will now do this. All right. In this movie, he kills 5 people.
Yes.
He kills 3 guys on the train.
Yep.
He stabs the dude to death with some scissors, and he shoots the guy at the end. All right. That's it.
No.
It is implied that he kills the chick.
Oh, right. Yes. Yes.
Right.
Fair.
But he only kills 5 people on screen. Oh, and his mum.
Yes.
So like 6.
Six, yeah.
Right. So we haven't, even with the implied ones, we haven't hit double digits.
Yeah.
Right. In the first John Wick movie, he kills 78 people on screen.
God damn it.
But this is the movie that incites violence? No, it's not. What it is people are uncomfortable viewing mental illness, and they're using violence to get it moved.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
But the thing is, like, that... okay, so this movie was... I feel like this movie was made to make you feel... Not to make you feel uncomfortable to the point where you can't watch it. It's just supposed to... I can't speak for the filmmaker. I can't speak for the director or the filmmakers.
It's
but
supposed to make you think.
It's supposed to make you think. Like, it's supposed to make you empathize with this character. Not exactly, agree with what he's doing, but, like, just show from his point of view of how somebody like that could snap.
Yeah. It's got 2 major points in it. Like, the first is that it is inherently part of comic books. It's like a history there. So, like, it is there as, like, a violent side to, like, how a character like the Joker that we've all known
Yeah.
could ever become like part of that character is that you just go, oh, well, like he's scary, but at a certain point you go, well, that's unrealistic. Like nobody would ever be like that.
Yeah.
So part of this movie is to prove that that's how a normal-ish person could get like that.
Yeah.
Another part would be just like, they've used a comic book character to tell a fantastic story.
Yeah.
And the other one is to just go, like, stop being assholes to people for no reason. Like, you don't know, you get the kids at the beginning who steal a sign and kick the shit out of them. Right? You've got the guy at work who pretends to be his friend whilst deliberately trying to fuck him over.
Yeah.
It's literally just going as like, this guy's got a mental illness.
Yeah.
And he's living, he's got fucking problems, and
people
people
living
are
with a mentally ill person.
and like he's like struggling with his mental illness and like other people's mental illness, and people are just being assholes to him because he's different.
Yeah.
Like, don't do that. That is like the main point of this story is not that, he. Sorry about that. Audio wigged out a little bit. Yeah, no, the point is not that he is a violent person or that he's just being insane. It's that all of these people treating someone who is already struggling like shit all the time, people are eventually gonna break. And like when you have already suffered through like from childhood all the way through, and you're like trying to live with this problem, and like your mum's not all there and she's the only like person he's got, and eventually like when someone like that, and you've been holding it off for that long, you snap for real. And that's what happens. The Joker is not an insane person who goes around killing everyone for the fun of it and causing chaos because he thinks he can, and like Batman's gonna stop him. He is like that because we made him like that.
Like it is, like it is. I think what it's trying to depict is like this is like society. Like society can do this to people. Like this is the ugly side of society.
Yeah.
I think that's what like they use Gotham City as well. Pretty much, they try to depict that like Gotham City is pretty bad. Like that's society at its worst. People are just dicks to each other. Everyone's out to get each other. No one, like, even they depicted Thomas Wayne in this movie, who in the comics all the way throughout, except for a few comics, was like to be like this beacon of hope the Waynes were like this beacon of hope for Gotham City, and then they kind of depict, or I got from the movie that he was a self-righteous douchebag.
Yeah, so they do drag him down a little bit in this movie.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if it was necessary, like, for the story. It seems like that was the only bit I really had a problem with, was they had him in it more as a way to shoehorn Bruce Wayne into it.
Yeah.
Like, I could have gone through that entire movie and not had any other mention of... Like, there's that bit at the beginning where she's talking, she's like, that old Thomas Wayne, like, they're watching him on TV, and she's like, that Thomas Wayne is great. Outside of that, I didn't need any more of that. I didn't need him to be a character in it.
Yeah.
Like, it could have been literally anybody else. Like, the whole, like, and he's your dad, but he's not, because she was mentally ill. Like,
yeah,
that could have been literally anybody else, and it would have been fine.
Yeah.
They just felt a little bit shoehorned. But then, having said that, that bit at the end, the very end of the movie, where he stood on the car and he's just like basking in the
pretty much in the
glory of like everyone going, oh yeah, you're the revolutionary, and he gets the blood from in his mouth and he puts the smile on his face.
Yeah.
And whilst that's happening, someone guns down Thomas and Martha Wayne in the alleyway.
Yeah.
So the symbol of the Joker and the actual, like, what starts the birth of the Batman happen at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, I like that, but the rest of the Thomas Wayne stuff didn't need it.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
'Cause
I felt like there were some scenes in there because I didn't go see this by myself. I went to go see it with my brother, and like I got one thing out of the movie and he got another thing out of it, and that's the whole, and that's what I like about it too, like these kind of movies, like people can see different things.
Yeah.
Like I empathize with the character and all that. Everybody empathized with them, but everybody saw different things in the movie. They took different things out of the movie. I think the people who are hell bent on getting this movie banned from cinemas is just, I don't know. You're thinking too much about it, and you're missing the point of it.
Yeah.
I think you just got to see this as a movie. It's an art piece. It's not inflicting violence.
No.
It's just an art piece. That's all it is.
And it is fantastic. It is Joaquin Phoenix's best performance.
It is.
Which is saying something because the man is a talented actor.
Yeah.
And I hope that the fact that this is technically a comic book movie doesn't
But the thing is, if that's
prevent him
what
from getting an Oscar.
if that's what alters their idea of why he shouldn't get an Oscar for this, because that it was based off a comic book, then the Academy should really take a long look at themselves, because that's a shithouse excuse for why they shouldn't get
That is a pretty terrible scene. Actually, while we're on that, I was going to end it there, but I'll go for a little bit longer. A couple of comments were made last week or the week before by Martin Scorsese, and basically what he said was that the Marvel Cinematic Universe isn't cinema.
Isn't cinema.
He said it's not cinema. So nobody's bothered to go out of their way to find out like why he said that or what he means by it. A couple of people have reacted. Samuel L. Jackson, basically in Samuel L. Jackson's own way, just went, "The motherfucking hell do you think is now cinema for?" But Robert Downey Jr. said that, you know, he's like, that's in classic now Robert Downey Jr.'s way, where he was just like, look, if that's his opinion, that's his opinion. Like it, and like someone was trying to get him, they were trying to get him to like answer. They were like, "Oh, what do you think he means by that?" and all that stuff. And he was just like, "Look, it's his opinion. Like I don't see how it's not cinema. It appears in cinemas. It's movies. It's all that." But that Martin, like the whole Martin Scorsese comment is not just about like his comment. It is indicative of the way like hardcore like film critics and cinema goers see comic book movies. But like when Iron Man came out and they were going, it's a superhero movie, it doesn't count, it's not cinema. I can see that. You don't get to go and see movies like Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame, The Dark Knight. Like, you don't get to go and watch those movies and how well crafted they are and then say it's not cinema.
Yeah.
Like, the build up from Iron Man to Endgame was the single biggest emotional payoff there has ever been in cinema for me. Like the entire last hour of that film, I emotionally destroyed me.
Yeah.
Like there was just so much going on, and you don't get that by having like not cinema. I don't know if they can hear that car alarm, but it's really starting to annoy me.
If you guys can hear that alarm going on behind us or in front of us, even, sorry.
But that has been going on and off for 3 days.
Like, we don't have soundproofing yet. That is annoying. God, I just want to go out there and get the bat underneath my bed and just destroy that car.
You don't have a bed. You have a mattress on the floor.
Helps my back. Sorry.
Yeah, no, because strangely, despite the fact we live together, I have not actually discussed this. I want to know how you feel. I think it's ridiculous. I think that like
why
the
is
Dark
not
Knight
consider...
is I can't even in my head like pretend to justify. Like usually you can hear an argument and you can sort of try and justify that argument if you had to.
Yeah. I can't justify that statement. It's not cinema, or the MCU is not cinema, or comic book movies aren't cinema. It's absurd. it's cinema because he doesn't want it to be cinema.
It's cinema because it doesn't fit into his little box of what is. And, like, he is famously obsessed, like, frame by frame, like,
Okay.
tearing movies apart and, like, making sure that they're perfect. But I don't think that because something doesn't fit your vision doesn't make it what it is.
Yeah. Look.
It's like I don't like tofu. It's like me saying it's not food.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's not food, but but look, if it brings a lot of it brings a lot of joy to people. It gives people jobs to make the movies. The movies make a fair amount of money when they come out.
They're great stories.
They're great stories. They have awesome payoff. And look, if a movie, and as Robert Downey Jr. said, if it comes out in movies, if it comes out in a cinema, then it is technically a cinema. You know, people even have that same argument for comic books.
But they're not books.
Like, they're not, like, people, like, I remember, like, I was listening to a thing the other day, and it was about this comic book writer, and for the longest amount of time, he would tell people, it's like, oh, I'm a comic book writer, and people would say, oh, then you're not really a writer, are you? It's like, why? That's right. It was Stan Lee. Stan Lee, like, said,
yeah.
It's like, people said, it's like, oh, you're not really a comic book writer. And it's like, why? Because the pages have pictures on them to kind of show people what I'm talking about. It's no different. It's no different than watching a play. If that's the case, I'm going into a whole thing, but everybody is entitled to their own opinion. We see those movies, if it has a good story, good payoff, and good character development,
yeah.
That's cinema. That's all it is.
If you can watch something and feel emotionally attached to character or story, to me, that's cinema.
Yeah.
Like, that's all it takes. And, like, I'm going back to Endgame because Endgame was the pinnacle.
Yeah.
And probably will be for many, many years to come now.
Yeah.
The fact that I can listen to Portals or The Real Hero and still have an emotional reaction without, like, watching the movie or, like, anything else. Like, and I've listened to those tracks many, many times. The fact that I can stop still and still, like, sort of skip a beat.
Yeah.
That's it. That's enough said. Like, if just being exposed to one aspect of a movie can bring back all of the emotions you had watching it, that's cinema.
Yeah. Like,
Martin Scorsese can shut the hell up. You old jerk.
The old jerk.
So I think we are gonna leave it there.
Yeah.
Thanks for staying till the end again. We'll
Yeah.
see you next week for episode 30. We might try and do something special for that.
Put on party hats and some streamers.
Woo! Yeah, we'll see. We'll get cooked.
We'll get cooked on camera.
Shots of the boys. No, so if you want to follow me on Twitter, I am at I'm at Review by Lurch.
And if you want to follow me, I am at JaredKiddo1.
The Real Talk banner is at real_pop. That is REEL, in case you were confused. We are at Real Talk Pop Culture Discussions, really stumbling over that today, which again is real as in a movie reel. That's the same for Facebook, for Instagram, and for YouTube, and for SoundCloud. So get on that. And yeah, I think that's it.
I think that's it.
RealTalkPCD.com is where you'll find all of our articles and links to all of our social media and stuff like that.
Jump on that YouTube channel and do us a favor and see that bell at the bottom and that subscribe button. You know you want to. You want to hear us talk again. So why don't you press like and subscribe?
Every time you click it, Martin Scorsese will apologize.
Yeah.
Subject to change with zero notice, and I can't guarantee anything that I just said.
Are we signing off?
Yeah, so please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon, like, it really helps us out.
Yeah.
And as always, guys, keep it real.
Stay sexy. Bye.